I'm Alina, for those of you that are new, and I'm the host. And each week we have different topics, different subjects, and different guests. I have about three kind of co hosts that I always bring on, but today it's just me, and I brought on Daniel.
Hello.
There he
Daniel's been
is.
on here before, but I feel like we didn't finish.
Not at all.
Solly. Is
Oh,
that better?
see, I shouldn't even told you that.
That didn't sound thug, did it?
No, not that time. But yeah, I
Okay.
shouldn't even told you
Yeah.
that. It's
and
like I will keep my nicknames to myself.
and we have Solomon, who is our awesome producer. He's
and
actually pretty
an
badass.
unofficial co-host. But
You are. You really make like I feel like you're the glue that puts it all together.
oh wow,
I feel like I'm the wild chihuahua on the leash running around, and he's like, "Come back."
you are. But the funny thing, let's actually not the funny thing. Let's talk about what's really important here. What's up with your hair? That is very nice.
So, thank you. I went to my girl Mimi, who I absolutely love. I've only gone to her and one other girl since I was pregnant with Seth. And I was like 8 months pregnant with Seth, and I walked in and I met her and I was like, chop my hair off. And she's like, no. Like,
Hmm.
Mimi, chop it off. Never met the girl. And she's been doing my hair since then. And so when I went in Thursday to get my hair done, she said, girl, your split ends are bad and you got broken pieces. And I'm always worried to let her cut because when someone's like, oh, I'm going to cut half an inch, 2 inches later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So she chopped off about 3 or 4 inches off the bottom, and then she's like, "I need to put some color in. Your friend is boring me." And I was like, "Okay,
Wow.
yeah." So
So when we were coming in and you said you had 4 inches taken off, you said I chopped my hair, and I'm thinking you really chopped your hair. I'm like, it doesn't look like you chopped anything.
for
It looks good.
me, I have an issue with short hair. I see a lot of people that have like Dora the Explorer haircuts. My two aunts, my grandma have short hair. Love it. It's beautiful. Me personally, I'm traumatized from when I was a kid. I can't do it.
You know what's funny is total opposite. I can't even stand when girls have the extensions now.
Oh, you know,
It's a lot.
it is, but I can't speak on that because I'm blessed with
I'm blessed
hair.
with hair too.
So
So
and
yeah,
I don't want to piss anybody off because I have a lot of friends that do have
I know a
extensions.
lot of girls too.
The only thing I always wonder is like in that moment, does that mean he can't play with your hair? That's the only
That's
thing.
that's the reason why I don't like
Like
it.
You can't pull too hard.
I wasn't trying to
It's it's
say.
it's not even pulling too hard. You just can't run your fingers anywhere. It's just
So for a guy that matters.
to me it does.
Solomon doesn't matter?
No.
He's like, no.
I mean, because, think about it. Most women don't want you running their hands through your hair, though.
I don't mind my
Mm,
hair being played with.
Yeah.
there's a time and place.
Yeah, that's
You're not just gonna do it to do it.
Right.
There's a time and place.
Like I
unless I
couldn't
just washed it. If I just washed it, don't touch my hair.
like I couldn't come over there right now and just start rubbing my hands through your hair and you'd be
No,
like, oh great.
because I just washed it this morning and I won't wash it again until like Tuesday.
And you styled it. It looks good.
Yeah,
That's
like
the other reason.
Well, it's coming on here. I couldn't just. If I didn't style it, I'll look like Mufasa.
Oh, and you wouldn't hear the end of it, right?
Oh no! Like
Yeah. Talk
I,
about having comments in the on the YouTube channel.
I remember one time my brother David. I showered. I just didn't do nothing that day. And by 5 o'clock that night, he looked at me and goes, "Oh my God, do something with your hair." Like it was so like
and he's
all.
straight out.
Oh yeah, it was all.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" He goes, "I can't handle your hair like that. It's just driving me crazy." I think I just put it in a ponytail or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got it done. And Mimi, thank you, memes.
Mm.
Um, so today's podcast, we have so many questions for you. One, how are you?
I'm good.
Anything interesting going on?
Yeah.
Since the last time I was on, took a snowboarding trip to Utah. Stayed in Salt Lake City one night and Park City for 4 nights. Awesome. Snowed the whole time.
Are they friendly in Utah? Because
Ye-
I've only driven through Utah, and they did not like me. That's all I'm going to say.
How did you
Um,
know if you just drove through? What happened?
We pulled over for gas, and I'm alert to, what
It's energies.
you
You can
know
tell.
what as a Mexican woman, you know what states do and do not like you. And Seth and I got out. We went in. We were driving to Colorado. Um, went up to the gas station inside to pay, and she's helping everybody. I come up and she turns her back to me,
Ooh.
and I just said whatever on number 7, right? That's it. And I didn't. I wasn't. I'm used to it, right? Well, Now Seth's behind me because he was buying something himself. I don't even remember what he was buying. And she's like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Mofo." So when we get in the car, he thought it was funny until he like looked at my face and he was like, "Oh man, mom." And I looked at him, I was like, "Pa," and he goes, "Oh my God." Like he put it all together. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of funny, but then he realized, so I've never stopped other than at a gas station. They were not nice.
Yeah. I've been all over Utah.
And are they nice?
Um, you can tell it's different, but because of the way I am,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Uh,
So like when there was a couple nights where we either went to dinner or it was just me and my brother. We either went to dinner or went to the bar and had some drinks or whatever, and they're cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I
A
mean,
lot of
but
Mormons there, right?
yeah,
And they don't sell alcohol after a certain time.
mm-mm. A lot of stuff closes early too. Just
Really?
restaurants, everything they close. It's not like it's definitely not like LA or anywhere
Snowboarding was
else.
good though?
Snowed the whole time, fresh
Really?
powder. It was really good.
Do you think it's an assumption of a sort of a financial difference, or do you think it's a cultural thing, or just a
It's a
straight
cultural
racial
thing.
It's a
thing?
cultural thing.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, I'm not moving there, so I don't care. They have every right to feel how they want and to be how they are. Like, it doesn't affect my life. I just, I know better, you know?
I love Utah. The people don't bother me. I go do my thing there. I like it. All the
See,
national
I
parks
love
and everything.
Colorado.
I like Colorado too.
We go to Breckenridge with my aunt, and we used to go a lot, and it was predominantly Caucasians. It's gotten more diverse as the time's gone. But but there they were never like mean. They're just,
Colorado's different. They have a lot more Hispanic people there.
oh, yeah.
Colorado has a lot more.
But Breckenridge is kind of like Aspen.
Mhm.
It's very, but you got money, you're paying. They don't care what color you are.
Like PV,
Yeah, they
same
whatever,
thing.
black, white, purple, yellow, green. They don't care. Just give me your money. Yeah.
Every place has its ghetto and their nice neighborhood, and it's usually only 20 minutes apart.
Yep.
hmm
That's all it is.
I heard there's a big Samoan culture in Utah now. Did you run across that?
A big what?
Samoan culture, like a lot of
Oh,
Samoans in
there is a
Utah.
lot of, yes, there is,
Mm-mm.
and they're Mormons.
Oh, I don't know about that,
Yeah.
but I've
Mhm.
heard
Wow.
that.
Yeah. there is. So what else is going on?
Uh, busy DJing a lot this week.
Really?
Godmother's on Thursday night, first Thursday, Saturday private party, and then Monday in Vegas.
And you're doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
More and more and more. You just said you already have dates booked in 2024.
2025.
2025. Oh,
So
we
We're
are,
in
we are in
2024.
2024. I keep forgetting that. Yeah.
Yeah, so get those
2025.
quinceañera reservations in now.
Yeah. yeah.
When they
I
turn
told
12.
my
you
niece's
know.
quinceañera in 2 years. We're gonna book that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite kind of party or place to DJ?
And your least favorite, by the way.
Ooh, least favorite is anything younger than probably 25 now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a. I mean, I'll play some new music, but it depends on how they grow up. Because some of the kids like what we listen to because their parents listen to it,
Yeah.
and they see how happy they are when they hear it. So it's usually anything around my age, between 40 to 50 years old. Like those are the best parties for me because I could just play what I like.
So it doesn't matter if it's a wedding or a birthday party
It's
or
just music.
yeah.
I don't play like, okay, this is wedding music, this is birthday music, this is club music. I mean, you play a little bit different, but it's the style that I play. I play a little bit of everything. Like, so I played at Godmother's. It's normally a little older crowd. It's not, you don't.
Damn, he called us older.
I mean,
Well, he
no,
called
they're
himself
like
older
most of the
too,
average
though.
people there in their 50s usually on a regular
I just
basis.
turned 50, homie.
You don't look like it either.
Thank you.
I would have never guessed that. I would never guess
I
that.
just did.
Yeah.
I listened to all that Evelyn Champagne and Donna Summer stuff. I'm 50.
Mhm.
But again, it's my mom's music, right?
Mhm. And you see how much joy it brings. I call it happy music. You don't ever see people listen to that music and not like it.
You know what's crazy is my mom's music is like all of that happy music. And then my dad's was like Steve Miller Band, Aerosmith,
Mhm.
Led Zeppelin, him and my uncle, Pink Floyd, Bob Marley. So I got such diverse. And then my grandparents back then were like Neil Diamond, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt, and mariachi music. Like, so we've grown up with all of this different variety of music.
I listen to everything. I really do. So lately I've been listening to like more like instrumental type, jazzy kind of stuff. And people ask me like, "What do you listen to?" I'm like, anything that I don't have to play all the time.
Does your music become more mellow as you get older?
Depending on what mood I'm in.
Because like
Everything depends on my mood.
I can listen to our old school rap, like Tupac, Biggie, Bone Thugs, but this new rap, I can't do it.
Yeah,
just can't
I don't really play anything new. I'm not a fan of it.
It's not.
I'll listen to some of it.
Not even new Kanye or new Jay-Z or new. I just can't
Do you really try though?
no.
Yeah.
I don't. I
That's a
just don't.
difference.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So like I tell people back in the day, the DJs would have to go sit in the record stores for a few hours and dig through all the records. You couldn't just be at home listening to all this music. unless you were sitting at home listening on the radio, but you weren't doing that either.
Yeah.
So now everybody's personal record store is in their hands. So in order to find good music, you have to listen to 1,000 songs to find 10 good ones that you like.
Yes.
But nobody does that anymore.
Well, I was telling Solomon that my kids wake up, shower, music. Cleaning the house, music. Get in the car, music. I don't care. We will talk louder for the music to be on.
Yeah,
But
see, my house is quiet.
oh
I can't.
no.
See, but I'm playing
But
it.
you're playing it all the time. I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
interested yet.
That's
So,
one of those things with professions. It's funny, like, I was gonna ask you if you felt like because you play music in a club all the time, if you know, like you said, certain songs that you play all the time, you don't really want to listen to on your own time, right?
Yeah, I don't want to listen to any of it, to be honest with you. But I do have to organize some stuff because I don't have a playlist that I a set order. Like every
Yeah.
time I play, it's I play to the crowd. So
Yeah.
literally, like whoever's there, like if I know you and you like it, I'm gonna play
Yeah.
that. So when people walk in, I'll try. Okay, they're here. Let me make sure. Like
Yeah.
they're all mental notes. So and so's drinking. Okay, they're gonna come back out and dance now.
You get in my car and it's on shuffle. You will literally hear like Aerosmith to Annie Wilson, who's a gospel singer, to Tupac, to Neil Diamond, to Linda Ronstadt, to like Dolly Parton, to like everyone's like, and again, whoever's in my car, skip, skip, play, skip, skip. Like I listen to everything. 311.
Let me ask you something. When you're listening to songs, even if you like it, will you skip it halfway through?
No,
See, I do that. I have music
no.
ADD. I call it. I will
I have to
literally like.
listen
Okay, I'm
to the
over it now.
words.
Now
Like
I'm over it. Like
there's a there's a song from the movie. Oh, it's gonna kick my butt. The whole era of like the Brat Pack, like 16 Candles, all that stuff. There's a movie, St. Elmo's Fire,
Okay,
and there's a song with St. Elmo's Fire, the theme song. I have to listen to every word, and it has to be on full blast. And I like get in the
I
car, and
gotta
I'm
hear
like
this now.
in the music, like it is like the song
You
that
gotta
I
send it
love.
to me. I don't know it.
Oh my! So I'm a music person. I know I won't like if you ask me to sing a verse, I won't remember. But once the song's on, then
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember. And I'm such a music, and I got that from my mom, my grandpa, but even my dad.
It's
Because
your family.
yeah, even when my dad went back to Mexico, my grandparents always had music. And I remember I was there one summer, and my grandpa was going into the big town or city, and I said, "Can you find me some kind of American music?" And he was like, "Yes." And he came home with this cassette. And he goes, "The guy said this is all he had, Mija," and it was YouTube, Joshua Tree. I sang that, had it in my little recorder thing all summer. When I came home, I knew every word. To this day, I love YouTube.
That's cool.
And I thought it was awesome because he was like, he thought to him, like, "Oh, she's probably not gonna like it. This is all he
You just
has."
wanted something you can understand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Music is a huge part of, I feel, our lives, our love lives.
It's a vibration. It creates the vibe.
And do you
Literally.
think that, um, like when you date and dating back then and dating today, that you can intertwine music into all of that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Me and my one of my buddies had a good conversation one day. Said like, we actually looked it up. Like, did some homework with it. How many songs used to even just talk about love, and how many songs don't now? Big difference. When you
Interesting.
hear it, because you're constantly hearing it on different songs, whether it's a R&B song or a hip hop song, the words you hear, they're gonna influence your mind no matter what.
What were you gonna say, Solomon?
No, I say it was interesting that statistic though, or that thought process on
It
the
really is.
comparison.
In so my kids are almost 10 years apart, and Loran was really second mom to Seth, right? And when I would work nights, and I remember he one day she picked him up from school, or she picked him up somewhere. So she was driving. She had to be 17 or 18, so he had to be 7 or 8, maybe even a little bit older. I'm not sure. But he comes storming in the house and he slams the door so that she couldn't come in. She had to open the door, and I said, "Well, what happened?" Your daughter, your daughter, she just listens to sex music in the car. And it was probably like a Tyrese song,
Yeah.
or a Boyz II Men or something. And I was like, "Well, what was it?" And she told me the song, and because then I was like, "Well, why are you listening to sex music with him in the car?" Right? She's like, "It wasn't. But it was a love song, right?"
But you know what? Though? That's always. I mean, you think about like Jodeci, Keith Sweat,
Yes.
all that stuff. Like I still listen to it all the
Oh,
time.
I love Keith Sweat.
Yeah,
Oh, I love
Oh
Keith. I
my
love
god.
Jodeci too.
yeah.
So but it's funny because now his music is he doesn't listen to any of the 90s R&B.
Oh
And I
wow.
don't know if we burnt him out of that,
Oh
right?
yeah, for
He's
sure.
so we went to see Bob Marley last night, and we're all into it. And he's watching. He took one for the team and went with his mom, right? But in the movie, there's a rock scene. They're in London, and there's like the punk rockers. And I
Mhm.
looked at him, and his whole face, like because that's him.
That's his, yeah.
And so I go, isn't that funny? I leaned over and I was like, that's all you and that's all me.
Mhm.
So he loves no effects
Mhm.
or something. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is. Like
Yeah.
he listens to all this music that I would never listen to. But he is a music person. It's just a different type of music. Where
Mhm.
Loran and I are like, we have the same.
Well, that's the thing is, I think because I've DJ'd so many things for so long that I see the way people react to it, so it makes me like it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people's reaction to me is everything. Like
It's your livelihood, technically.
What is one of the most played songs from that era? Like the whole
ain't no fun.
huh?
Ain't no fun. By far. By far.
Really?
Oh yeah,
By
by far.
Snoop,
Oh
huh?
yeah, by far.
That's funny.
That's
Okay.
probably by far the song that to this day, I don't care where you're playing it. You could be playing at a Vegas place, at a house party, like that's the song that just goes.
And every culture,
Yeah.
not just Mexicans or
Oh
black.
no,
Every
it's
culture.
every. I don't care if you're older, if you're younger, if you're rich or poor,
Ain't
black
no
or white or
fun.
anything. Yeah,
That I know.
it's
It
just what
just
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
And everybody sings the whole song. That song you're not cutting short. There's
Yeah.
no. You just play that song and that's it.
So as a DJ,
Or you can't because what kind of party it is maybe. But that's the one song
you're
that
not going to play that as a Jewish. What is it called? What are they?
bar mitzvah.
Bar
Bar
mitzvah.
mitzvah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really do those anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably okay. As far as that's probably the one thing that I'm like, no, I'm good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And just because, or
I don't understand it.
oh,
I don't
okay.
have any of those kind of friends to where I don't
Mm.
understand the culture, what kind of music. So I would have no idea.
Yeah,
I
and
really
that's
don't.
and at least you're honest about that.
Oh yeah, I've turned down a lot of jobs where I either send somebody who's better, but that's why people call me too, because I'm not gonna just take it because I want the business.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you whoever's best for your event.
Oh, and do you have DJ friends that you do
Oh
that with?
yeah, I got quite a
Okay, got
few.
it.
Yeah, there's a few of them that are all over the place. Whether it's Spanish music, there's a guy that I use that's way better than me.
Oh, okay.
Some guys play a lot more house music stuff. I
Okay.
mean, I can play all of it, but not. I'm not doing that all night.
Yeah.
So they refer people to you as well?
Not as much usually,
Oh.
but I'm okay
It's
with
like
that.
I do the refer.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm okay with that.
How does your dating life get in?
It's hard. Me DJing's hard.
Is it?
Yeah, it makes it tough.
And are you a commitment person or are you a love bomber? Because we were talking
Oh boy.
about that.
Um, honestly, I think because of the energy that I am.
Mhm.
I mean, if you've been out around me, you kind of have an idea, and it's kind of more like, who do I feel better? Like, 'cause you can tell. I could tell by people's energy. Like, why you either want the attention, maybe you think I have money and I don't,
Yeah.
or a lot of girls like, where do you live? What kind of car you drive? What do you do?
But why does that matter? Why does it matter what kind of car you drive or
It's a sign of status, and it looks like you have something, but in actuality, you're usually just covering something up.
But my thing is, I would rather take a guy that drives just a simple car, but he's a good-hearted person than some machismo man who drives a big truck.
You are 52.
True.
Makes a big difference.
Well, I don't know because
And at the same time, you're financially stable yourself, so you don't need that part of it either.
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna use so Javier had a Regal. But the Regal was cool because it was like, it was all done. So and that was his car, like, and I didn't care. So I was young, right?
That's a cool car back then.
It was
That's a cool car.
and
It still
was
is.
like it was like this electric badass blue. Like, anyways,
yeah.
he could have drove a Pinto and I would have been in love. It didn't matter. And then like after that, like Seth's dad drove a truck.
It wasn't as important
He
back then,
lived at
though.
that's the
Back
thing
then, it
is
wasn't.
because he lived at home
Yeah.
with his parents. It wasn't like,
Yeah, back then was different
and why is that? Like,
because you can see it on social media now. Social media
Yep.
changes everything. It's all for show.
I think social media 80% is fake.
Yeah.
Like people won't put the bad, and nobody really wants to see the bad either.
It's all
but-
filtered. Not just the
Oh.
pictures, but everything's filtered. They want people to believe. Most people who don't post things, they're either really enjoying their life or they're really not happy to show anything.
So having the podcast, and Seth is the person that's on me the most. I shouldn't say that. Loran does too. Like, and my mom does. Actually, I think everybody does. You don't publicize yourself enough. But I'm not on social media enough to do it. And I keep trying to tell myself to do that, but working full time.
You see how much I'm on it.
Yeah, grandma. You put like the funny. Sometimes I'll tell you this. Before you came on the first podcast, I was like, I don't know if I believe half this stuff. Like, are you posting it on there to be funny, or is this really who you are? Like,
Well, I think that's the funny part is when people start following me and they don't know me, and then they meet me, they're like, "You really are the way you are online, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all real.
oh yeah,
It's all. It's
some of
not
the
fake."
things you write, and you'll see because I'll laugh at some of them. And some of them that I feel like hit close to home.
Mhm.
But I need to be on social media more so that I can publicize this more, but I'm not. And I also feel like you said it's so fake. I have to only I try to be as real as I can. Not everyone's perfect and
So I
it's hard.
with social media, it's funny because I tell people don't follow your friends and family, follow what you want to see. Follow where you want to
Mhm.
go. Because your friends and family, you can call them or you're going to be hanging out with them or you can send a text or whatever. You don't want to see stuff that they put up all the time because sometimes that's family and friends sometimes are to be the ones that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow them, it's kind of people they get
Well,
bothered
and
by
that's
it.
how I feel. I feel like if I post every day all day long, I'm gonna bombard them with coffee and case, coffee and case. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna get to a point where they're gonna be like, and you have a lot of haters out there. So
Oh yeah.
people
But
are like,
if you don't have any haters, you're not doing anything then.
oh, I must be doing something then, because
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean that's what it is though.
Yeah,
Nobody above you is gonna be putting you down. It's always the people that are below you that are trying to
true,
pull you back down.
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
That's very true.
Hey, I want to go back a little bit. So, Daniel, you mentioned you said dating was difficult with DJing. Why is that?
Um, let's say the word that I use is fans.
Okay.
When I'm DJing, I have a lot of female friends,
Yeah.
and just nothing crazy. Just come and give me a hug and a kiss, and that's hard. If I'm dating somebody, that's hard for them to sit there and be like, "Who's this girl? Who's this
But
girl?
why are
Who's
they
this
coming up and giving you a hug and a kiss?
And what kind of kiss?
Yeah, right.
girl?"
Yeah.
Kiss on the cheek? Like I'm not
Like,
kissing anybody on
but
the
why are
nose.
they really your friends?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to my question because I am a firm believer in friends. That person's your friend, so is that person invited to your wedding? Is
They
that
can be.
person invited to your baby shower? Is that person invited to
Well,
your
I'm not
birthday
getting
party?
married, and I'm not having any more kids.
Well,
So,
you know what I mean,
yeah.
like somebody, and the reason I say this, I'm very very hard on the word friends, and
Mhm.
I had a talk with somebody, told you who, and this person said, "But we were friends. We've been friends." I said, "My daughter's 33, and in 33 years, you've never been invited to anything with my kid or my son. I don't even know your kids' names really. Like, we're
Yeah.
not friends. Just because we're from Pedro and we were friends when we were younger doesn't mean we're friends." And I think that people use that word so freely.
Yes.
For me, the term friend means, can I call you at 2 a.m. if I had a car accident?
Just say fix my roof. Just go ahead and say it. Because we know that's what this is always about.
We were joking at work about that the other day, and I told the guys at work, I'm done. I'm just gonna go to Mexico and tell some guy, "Papeles? Yes. Fix my roof? Yes. Let's get married." Like that's it. Like you could throw my trash out, fix my roof, now fix the squeaky back door. Like I'm like at the point where I'm like,
Just go to
it's
Home
an
Depot
even
and pick one
that's
up.
what someone said. I'm like, it's an
That's what I told you
even
last
trade.
time. Just go
Yeah.
to That's what I
Even
told one of my
trade.
girlfriends. She was like, "Honestly, I don't know if I want to date to marry anybody." She's like, "I just need a handyman." I go to Home Depot and use one up. Like,
He just has to be taller than me. That's my only
Yeah.
oh,
request.
my friend's short, so
Oh,
it's
she's
easy.
short.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I say is like, that's it. But I feel like when you're DJing and I was dating you, girls come up and hugging and kissing you that I don't know who they are, they're not a part of your life.
I'm introducing you.
Why?
Well, for one, I'm introducing you.
Okay.
So if I'm dating you, anybody that comes up, I'm introducing you.
Okay.
And most of them won't. If I'm single, it's different, obviously. But if I have somebody there, yeah, no.
And it's not that we don't trust you, but we don't
Just
trust
the girls.
girls.
Oh yeah.
Because and a lot of girls will come up like, "Oh, I went up there and kissed him and she sat right
Oh.
there." You know, girls are evil.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
Like that is, and
It's
I know because I was one of them when I was younger. When I was younger, I did things to
oh,
spite
they still
girls.
do.
I don't anymore. I'm a very mature woman. That's one thing I can say. I'm very proud of
20,
myself.
30, 40, 50 years old, still
I've
doing it.
It's hard, but I've worked on myself. I don't need to prove anything to anybody any more than myself.
That's
That's me and Jesus. That's it. That's all I need. Like, so I could see where dating would be hard for a girl to sit there and watch somebody come up and kiss you. And
Mhm.
do you stop when you take your breaks and go dance with girls?
Oh yeah. That's part of it.
But do you do that when your girl
I
sits
don't have
there?
taking break. Oh yeah.
She doesn't go dance with
Oh
you?
yeah, she would dance too. Yeah, if
Okay.
I'm dating somebody, yeah, for sure. You have to dance. I dance all the time.
And you'll go dance with other girls?
Oh yeah.
Do
It's
you
not even
like
like
dirty dancing or just regular dancing?
regular dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Like most of the music that I play is old school music.
Okay.
And it's you don't people didn't dance all close back then.
Mm,
So it's fun music and you're just kind of moving around the dance floor.
yeah.
So like I'm dancing. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's moments like that, but not
Now, do you date? We're older. We're no longer kids. So I'm gonna go back into when we were dating in the 90s. But do you date to date long term, or are you dating to have fun?
Okay, well, I was married for 14 years. Outside of that, I can probably say, well, since I've been divorced for 6 years, I've only had really one girlfriend. I've dated a couple people, like a couple months or whatever, but I've really only had one girlfriend.
Okay.
And I'm not one to go from relationship to relationship. That's you need to have a break. Just for whatever to heal yourself from whatever happened. And if not, that's why people go when they go from one to another, they're just filling a void
Yeah.
of some kind. Not
You're not healing yourself and you're not fixing, so you're taking whatever your part in that relationship is, you're taking it into the next
and
relationship.
it's easy to point the finger at somebody else. From anybody that I hang out with at all, how can I make my relationship better or me better as a person? I can't control you and I just try to take something from it.
Yeah. So you didn't answer the question though.
About what?
Do you date to date long
Yeah.
term, like
I
to?
won't start unless I think it's gonna be something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, I won't even
so
start.
you're single then, just because you haven't found your person,
Yeah. Pretty much.
your second half person, because your first
Yeah.
half was your marriage,
Yeah.
right? So now you're looking for your second half.
So those anonymous question things that I did on my
Yeah.
Instagram, that's one of the things was like something about dating people or something like that. I said, I only have one ex. I said your favorite ex or something like that. I only have one ex, my kid's mom. That's it.
Ah.
I dated one other person outside of that. Mm.
Yeah.
And they know
So
who they are. Like anybody that I've been around close to, they know who they are.
now, do you date women your age or do you date
It's been all
younger?
over.
Because that's
It's been
the.
all over. It's been from late 20s to early 50s.
And do you think that women, and I'm one of them in my 50s, we have to stay fit, we have to stay mentally healthy, we have to, because we're, and I don't mean we're competing like competing, but meaning
Women compete against each other. Most of the things that you guys do isn't for us.
it is, but you're also like, you're a very handsome guy. You have all your stuff together, right? So we go out and we're out and there's all these 35-year-old girls. More than likely, guys are going to look at the younger girls just
Yeah.
because.
We're gonna look, yeah.
So we have to.
You have to not worry about that.
I don't.
Looking is looking.
But I look at a lot of my friends that are single now, and they think they're gonna go out and meet this guy, and I'm like, "Girl, those guys are looking at the younger ones, and you're a little chunky." What is Tom calling little gorditas? Like Tom's one of them. Tom's made it clear, like. So you have to, and I try to tell my friends, like, you have to stay fit, you have to stay healthy, and not just physically, but mentally
Mentally,
also.
I think mentally is more important as we get older
Oh, mentally is
because
everything.
stuff drains you, and if once you start getting drained, that's when it's time to go.
So you'll take somebody who maybe.
I don't do dates. That's one thing.
Wait, what
Like,
do you mean you don't do dates?
I'm not one to take people on dinner. I think that's fake.
Hold on, I'm so confused. So, okay, you meet a girl, you think she's hot, you guys text, talk. Like, what's the next step then if you don't date?
I'm gonna go get you drunk. Let's see
Oh
how
Lord.
let's see how you act when you're drunk, and let's see how you are the next day.
Hmm.
And when you say the next day, do you mean the next morning or do
Yeah,
you
the
mean
next
the next
morning.
day? Oh,
You
okay.
mean when her eyelashes are off and the extensions are out and the makeup's out and
Mhm.
the
Well, more precisely, when you're waking up next to her in bed. Is that what
take
you're
her
referring
swimming.
to?
That's what I tell
Okay.
Seth. I said,
Let me
take him
see.
swimming. Take him
Well,
swimming.
I always say, let's go do that, or let's go on a 3-day trip somewhere.
I was gonna say, what if she doesn't drink? Like, I'm not a
So
drinker.
there's been 2 girls that I met over the last handful of years that don't drink, don't do anything, and literally, like, the second time we even just went to lunch, I was like, "I can't. Like, I'm not gonna put myself or you in that situation to where I'm not gonna continue to even try to talk to you like this."
Because they don't drink?
Well, it's because I'm not gonna stop, and it's little things like going to dinner, having a glass of wine. I'm not talking about getting drunk, but,
But
like, little things like that.
I have a lot of friends and even guys that will do that. Like, but I don't drink and it's not a
Oh, yeah,
like.
but, I mean, like, it's for me, it's one of those things, like, it's gonna be around me a lot, and if you don't, that's fine. I'm not saying it's bad, it's actually a good thing. Like, drinking is definitely not my favorite.
But
So
aren't you saying you're saying that you won't date a girl who doesn't drink because you feel like it's an incompatibility, or what is that?
Um, I think over time, there's gonna be some well, I mean, if it's right, maybe I won't drink anymore.
But why do
But
you
what
feel
if she
like you
doesn't?
have to change though?
Yeah,
That's what
what if
I'm
she
trying to
doesn't ask you
understand.
to stop drinking?
Neither one of the girls did ask me to stop, but I just know, like, it it's just different. It creates a different vibration. So if I'm drinking even here and there and you're not, it's different.
Huh.
Hmm.
I don't think I've Stephen Solomon's
Yeah, I mean,
I've never so I've dated, okay, so I'm gonna use my ex. Um, we dated off and on for 6 solid years, literally. Like, we broke up for 2 years and I dated somebody else and he did his thing, got back together, right? Um, and I thought when we got back together that last time, like, let's see if this is finally going to work, right? So I finally gave in and started to open up my door and spend more time with him. Let's finally see. And he drank and he's a drinker and I don't mind that. I didn't hear, but it became too much.
Yeah, and I get that.
Like it's there was a problem if that makes sense. And I saw that. So I had to exit. But he drank and I was fine. I didn't care that he drank and he didn't care that I didn't drink.
Mhm.
But it just got to a point where I also can't carry out a 6'2" man. Like, I'm only 5'4". I can't, you know what I
I'm
mean?
not big, so I don't think that'd be a problem.
That's what I'm saying is like I've dated lots of guys that drink, and I think I don't. There hasn't been a guy that
So
I've
you don't drink
dated.
at all?
I'll have a. My friend Regina introduced me to lemon drops,
Okay.
but the only thing with lemon drops is, whew, they
Sweet.
drop me on my ass.
It's sweet too, though.
Like, in the past, I used to drink a lot of tequila. Like, not a lot. I shouldn't say that, but margaritas.
I've never known you to really be a drinker either.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm not. I'll drink 3, 4 times a year, but if I never had another drink in my life. Now the other thing though is I don't mind smoking.
I'd rather smoke. And obviously, I'm wearing
So
a
I
mushroom
know you
shirt,
walked
so
in. Solomon and I were talking about
Yeah, we're
mushrooms,
talking
and you
about
walked in with
mushrooms.
yeah.
the whole mushroom thing.
Mhm.
I'll smoke, and I'd rather smoke because it just takes the edge off.
Have you dated somebody that smokes?
Again, I don't think I've dated. I don't think there's been a guy that I hadn't dated that didn't smoke, like
What do we mean by smoke, by the way?
weed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not cigarettes. I
Yeah,
never
no,
smoked a
weed.
cigarette in my
Oh
life,
yeah,
and
I
I
don't
won't.
like cigarettes.
I
Cigarettes are
won't even be around a
disgusting. Yeah,
cigarette.
yeah, I'm
If
the same way.
I don't care what you look like or what
Yeah,
boxes you check on a
yeah.
list or whatever. If you
Cigarettes are.
smoking, you're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I think for me, and weed is different than drinking. If I met a guy and he drinks but he doesn't smoke, I will ask. And usually, guys and women are like, "Oh my god, you smoke? You're a criminal." Like it's so like that whole
Yeah.
stigmatism with it,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
So I won't date a guy that doesn't smoke or isn't okay with smoking
Yeah.
because I don't want to feel like I'm going to hell for smoking when you're an alcoholic. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's even and it's my fault. I put my daughter through a lot of hell when she was younger, but she was younger, right? Now,
And you were
like,
younger.
yeah, and now, and it wasn't legal.
Hmm.
So now, like, I have family members like, oh my God, your daughter smokes. I'm like, oh my God, you drink. You're an alcoholic. Like, leave my kid alone. Like, that's the least of her, you
Yeah.
know?
It's just more socially acceptable. That's the only reason why people drink so much. Is
Mm
because it's socially acceptable.
hmm. Mm hmm.
That's the only reason why. Everybody knows that it's not the greatest thing for you. Who makes great decisions when they're drinking? Nobody.
And I feel like when you smoke, you actually make better decisions because you're kind of more relaxed and you
Hmm.
probably won't go buy that purchase or you won't do this or, do that because you're kind of set
Just
back.
like you're more relaxed, like you
Yeah.
said, and you're not as anxious to do something.
Yeah. So since you're out all the time between traveling and DJing and you're a single dad and where you work and you have all these things, what is the number one thing you look for in a girl?
One of the things that I talk about lately is schedule.
Oh,
Do your schedules fit? I think that's probably the biggest thing because most of us at our age are not going to adjust for somebody right away. So if you make time, that means you like somebody. I'm not going to make time for you in the first week or 2 weeks. Like I'm not
yeah.
changing my schedule.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. No. Like if our schedules work, and I work nights, so it's hard. So is anybody who works during the day and I work at night, when do you get to hang out? And when you do, who's working the next day, who's like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So where
Yeah.
if the schedules don't work, I don't think it's hard to make it work. I mean, you can, it can, but it's to me, I mean, you need separation too, but you need to have the same schedule
Yeah.
somewhat.
Separation is funny. I saw this thing on something that said, if you and I were dating back in the 90s, right? And you were leaving my house and you give me a kiss goodbye and you leave, I'm missing you. You may or may not call me that night, right? But I'm thinking about you and I miss you. So the next time I see you, it's like, where have you been, right?
Mm-hmm.
You leave my house today, you either call me as soon as you get in the car or we're already texting. There's no separation to miss somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of a sudden you become that person's be all end all. And that's where I feel like love bombing comes in. And I feel like I cannot be somebody's be all end all.
No, I don't
I
want to
don't
be either.
I'm not that type of person to even if my kids like Loran's married and does her own thing and Seth's married and does his own thing. Grandma's in heaven. Like I like me. I enjoy
Once you spend
some
enough time
alone
by your
time.
once you've been alone for a while and you created your own little piece, it's kind of hard to bring somebody into that.
My life, like I know what I like to watch. I read my books. I have like my 2 dogs. I probably shouldn't say that because I sound like the cat lady. But I do want to date someone, but you still have to have your own life. You have to say, "Hey babe, I'm golfing tomorrow for the day, and I'll be like, go, bye, have a good day. And don't even text me when you're golfing.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy your day. Like, text me, hey, we're done. I'm on my way home. Are we grabbing dinner? What are we doing? But I don't need to be your be all end all. And
No, I don't think anybody should be.
do you think that's changed though so much because of social media, because of
Mhm.
our phones,
Yep.
because of texting, FaceTime,
Well, part of
calls?
it, I think why people started doing it, my opinion, is because when they weren't connecting with whoever they were with and that didn't work out, they figured this might work. And when they do it and they see it works, they're gonna keep doing it to anybody that they date. But that doesn't last forever. You can't do that forever. So whenever that stops, it's like, where did that go?
Yeah.
Like they say, I mean, I always say that 3 months is usually a time frame. After 3 months, you can't hide anything anymore. 3 months is usually the time frame. Like once you hang out with somebody enough after 90 days, you're gonna know, like, I
Well,
like
I
you, I don't.
say take a good trip with them, like you said,
Mhm.
get in a good fight with them. Like when you get in a fight with someone, you'll know if they years in when you fight, that's a different story, right? But if in the very beginning you get in a fight and they're calling you names or they're doing things or
That's too
saying
much too early.
that's who they are.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, like I tell people, it's not how you communicate when you're good. How do you communicate when you're bad? Like
Mhm.
when even if we're not arguing with each other, like if I'm going through something, whether it's with work, family, friends, whatever, how do you communicate with me with that? Those are the times when it makes the relationship good or not. Whenever somebody's down or when both of you guys are in an argument about something,
Yeah.
how do you resolve that? Like it's funny. So one of the things I say is I'll argue with you every day as long as we're not arguing about the same thing tomorrow and the next day because that means we fixed it. If a new problem comes up and we fix it, I'm okay with that. But if we have to keep repeating whatever the problem is, it's too much.
I would like to say that I'm a good communicator, but I know I'm not. I know that if something bothers me, I'll just be like, whatever. I'll just try to suck it up and get over it.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But I know that for me,
But it's the way you communicate it.
it's what I don't like is I don't like men, excuse me, who gaslight. So if I come to you and say, "Hey, I didn't like A, B, and C." Oh, well, you did D, E, and F.
Yeah,
No, no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no.
If you had a problem with that, you should have came to me.
Mhm.
I'm talking about A, B, and C. Don't change it. Don't start accusing me. I'm the one that came to you with the problem. So a lot of times I'll just be like, it's not even worth saying something because I already know how the conversation's gonna go.
If you know how the person is, but sometimes that's the part where you got to give them a chance, and then once you prove it to yourself, like, okay, yeah, you did do that. Now I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't I remember when we're young and you met somebody, like when I met Javier, like, and we knew we wanted to go out, blah, 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 blah. And then it finally happened. There was no love bombing, but we also never left each other's side. Like it just it
How old
was
were you?
we were young. I was 20 when I met him.
Okay, yeah, that's
So we were but there wasn't any like he didn't throw himself at me. I didn't throw himself at him. We just knew. Like, okay,
what was a connection. That's why.
yeah, and I feel
Now,
like
now we're connected through phones, not through people. So it's a lot different. Like you said, you would miss somebody because you saw them either the next day or you didn't know when you were going to see them because again scheduling. You know whether you're working or they're working or maybe whatever is going on, and it makes a big
and
difference.
people resolve and everything is text message. Pick up the phone. Like I'd rather talk to you. Like if you can sit there and text me, why aren't you calling me?
It's funny because most people don't like to call anymore, but I'll call you because I'd rather talk to you for 3 minutes
Mhm.
than send half hour of text messages, and then it gets misunderstood because of I don't know. It's
I feel like if you're sitting at home and I'm sitting at home and we're texting, why aren't we just together? Or why don't you just call me? Like, why are we texting? Like, well, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? Oh, this. Well, that. Why did? But I think people have become so used to text messaging and they hide behind their phones because there's no
Mhm.
real emotions now.
Mm-mm.
They don't have to look at you. They don't have to
Well,
hear your
it's the
voice.
conversation that we had the other day. Is when we were young, you had to call somebody's house and their parents would answer. So you had to make sure you knew what was gonna happen. You probably practiced what you were gonna say on the phone because or it might
You're
be an older brother.
nervous as
It might be an older
hell.
brother. It might be like, you know what I mean? You don't know
An
who so
older sister,
yeah,
like,
something and you know who's at the house because like, hey, like so and so might answer the phone. It's like,
yeah.
oh boy, okay.
Yeah.
Who am I calling? So it makes a difference. I mean, even if they are 20, 22 years old, like you still have to call somebody's house and their parents are gonna answer.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you're a kid, you're not answering the phone.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
So I asked you what your number one thing was. What's your least thing in women that you don't want to deal with? Is it baby daddy drama, too many kids, and not
I like kids.
working?
I like kids, but I'm not trying to raise any more, to be honest with you.
I get that.
Like I mean, kids are great, to be honest with you. Like, I love being around my kids. Anybody who knows me, they know, like, my kid's with me all the time.
Yeah.
That's my little dude,
Yeah.
my little broke best friend.
My little broke best friend.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he just eats my money. He doesn't like to spend.
Yeah.
He just eats. That's
Yeah.
it. Just and food's
Aw.
expensive, so like we
Yeah.
just eat. Like we don't go do a whole lot of stuff. We just go eat.
So would you get married and bring somebody into your house with your broke little friend?
Yeah.
And your broke little friend would be cool with that? Like he's like
I talked to him
whatever.
about. He's 18 now, so I
Okay.
had a conversation with him, and he goes, "As long as you're happy." I
Mm.
go, "Can you tell when I'm happy?" He goes, "Kinda."
Mm.
And I asked him, I go, "Do you like me better single, or do you like me better when I'm dating somebody?" He goes, "Doesn't matter." He goes, "You're kind of
Oh.
still the same."
Uh,
I'm not really one to change a lot.
I think I did. I think when I was younger, I think men kind of controlled my issue, like my not my issues. They controlled my emotions. And I think as a mom, maybe that was one of my flaws. Like I really had to work on that. Today, no man will ever control my emotions. Who's never. If I had a boyfriend and we got in a fight, my kids won't know what's
It's about
going
you
on.
controlling your emotions,
Hmm.
not letting somebody else.
It
You have to be
took a
able to control it.
long, long. Well, I was a hothead. I was raised around my brother, my
That's the way
sister,
all
and
of us
my
were, though.
mom. Like,
Yeah.
and it took forever for me to realize that my childhood trauma or even my younger life trauma should never be my children's trauma. And I will because I like I say I try to be as raw and honest on here. Like I did affect some of that towards my kids.
Oh yeah. When we're younger, yeah,
Yeah,
we
like
don't know any different.
and I didn't realize this, but Seth said something yesterday as we were in line at the movies. He said something about Javier, and he's like, "Well, I would too. I mean, look at how Javier passed away and da da da." And I looked up to him like he wasn't around, right? He wasn't even thought of. And I said, "Well," he goes, "Well, mom, that was like your love." And I was like, I didn't realize that things that I said probably the
He can hear
emotion.
it.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I was
they
just
know.
like,
Your kids know you better than you think.
so we had a talk. We had a conversation because I don't want him to ever feel like he comes second to him. Javier's past, unfortunately, we can never change that, but you're here now and you're my child. Like there's as much as I miss him or whatever, you're my child. And so I had to have a talk with him about that. So I was like, "Oh my God, when I was younger, my emotions were affected. And I was like, I can't do that anymore." Mm-mm. And it goes back to the peace that I created, like you said, being in the house.
We just don't waste any energy as we get older.
I really don't.
That's all it is. It's just I don't want to waste any energy.
We don't. I told you I had to call a girl last weekend and have a conversation with her. And I was actually really proud of her. And I was really proud of myself, how we handled the
You
conversation.
guys are grown women.
We both said some really harsh things to each other, but we were able to hear it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was proud of myself because she said some stuff to me, and I was like, 10 years
Good
ago,
thing you weren't. I was gonna say
yes,
15, 20 years ago would have been a
yeah,
different
I would have been
story.
like, "Where are you at?" But what I did tell her is, right or wrong or indifferent, these are your feelings, and I validate them.
Yeah.
Like I have to understand for me to have peace in this moment, I have to acknowledge that that's how, for whatever reason, that's how I made you feel. And at the beginning of the conversation, she didn't want to hear how she made me feel, but at the end, she was just like, "I am so sorry." Like it was a really good conversation, but I realized in that moment, I've grown, I've matured, and only I can affect myself. You know what I mean?
So one of the things I just, as you were talking about that, made me think about it is one of the things that I like and one of the things that I look for is when I'm with somebody, how do you interact with other women? To me, that's a big thing.
That's amazing that you say that because women know that,
Hmm.
but men usually don't pay
I
attention
pay
to that
attention. Like,
stuff.
how are you around other women?
Ah.
How are you around them? Can you communicate with them? Like, does it matter who they are, where they come from, or who they're with, where we're at? Like, does it matter? Like, how are you with other women?
Because for some
That
reason,
shows your guys' confidence,
yes.
and that means everything.
Because there's women that can smile and be happy however they may feel, and
It's all fake.
and but
I read body language, so
but my
that's
thing is, okay, went to a party 4 or 5 years ago, and one of the manager's wives, he introduced me to her, and she said hi, but she was not nice, and I was like, "Oh, okay." She was a little thicker, right? She came up to me by herself and said, "I am so sorry, but I'm just not comfortable with my husband working with you. Like, look at you, right?" And the fact that she was woman enough to come up and say this to me, and I said, "So, honey, don't worry. I don't look like this at work. I have a hoodie on and pants and like no
yeah.
makeup." And she's like, "You're we're actually friends to this day. I've been to their house. I've taken my niece, but she was woman enough to, and for me,
It takes a
that
grown woman to do that.
it does.
Yeah,
It does. She didn't come with her husband.
yeah,
She walked up by herself and
yeah,
had a conversation with me, and I adore her for that. Like she
yeah.
was awesome. but women can't do that.
And that's a big thing for
And
me.
it's not that she's insecure, but she's right. Like now she goes home and thinks this person's a third of my size. This person's always around my husband. I'm not there. Like and that bothered her. And
That
so
takes a lot of trust too.
it does. And
Yeah.
so you're right. Women around other women.
That's a big tell. And that's what I mean, like, go out, have a couple of drinks, and you kinda gotta let your guard down a little bit and see how you are.
Do you bring her around your friends?
Oh, yeah.
Like girlfriends?
Yeah.
To see what she's like?
Yeah, if I have to. Like, my girlfriend's gonna come around.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends that don't necessarily say go out, like, they might just come and have coffee or
Yeah.
maybe smoke.
Do you do online dating?
No.
Would you ever do online dating?
Um, After I got divorced, I kinda went online for a little bit, and yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean,
Solomon, you know all
but you
about
know what though?
that.
But
Yeah.
I meet enough people on a regular basis. I don't need that extra stuff.
Is
I'm
that why
out.
you don't do it though?
Yeah, I don't need any extra.
Yeah.
It's too much. And I think the little bit of time that I was on it, a lot of it's just wasting time messaging to people that
Yeah.
you're never gonna meet up with, whether
Yeah.
you're connecting or not. Like most of it's just people are passing the time.
Yeah.
I mean, do they work? Yeah, I know people who've made good relationships out. I mean, my sister and her husband, they met online.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're married, everything's good?
Yeah.
I do think that it's good for people. Like,
People who don't socialize a lot.
yes.
So I mean, everybody's different. I'm very active and social everywhere. Like I travel, I'm always doing something to where I'm gonna meet new people no matter what. And it's easy for me, but most people aren't like that. Most people's lives are kind of a little bit boring.
Wow. He just called me boring.
Your life isn't boring because you got a big family that's going on. So
I
there's
do,
always
I
a lot
do,
of
I do,
action.
I
You
do.
don't have to be out. You don't need any extra
No, I
action.
don't.
You have enough in your little
I
at the
do.
you have enough action at the fridge.
I do. Solomon was at the fridge last weekend, huh, Solomon?
Yeah. But you really are the center of your community though.
The-
So that's a lot of fulfillment that you
Yeah.
get from that.
The one thing I know, like, I even in the podcast, I'm trying to venture out, right? Because I obviously want not just us, I want everybody else. But at the end of the day, like, Solomon makes fun of me all the time. Pedro. It was such a sense of just growing up there was awesome. Like, it had its
It
bad
was.
moments, but I love how I was raised in that town, which is now a city.
It was a big family.
It was.
Back then it was a big family.
It really
You couldn't
was.
go anywhere without somebody, mom, dad, uncle, cousin, knowing where you were at, and they'll call like, "Hey, so and so is here. What are you doing over there?" Everybody knew everything because
Yes.
everybody was family,
Yes.
and you knew their family.
Yes.
You knew where they lived, and you knew you just knew.
You did. You walked in somewhere and you're like, oh, that's so and so's baby daddy, sister, cousin, brother.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
don't talk to them.
Well, the
Yeah.
funny thing is, from my perspective, I think it's still like that because the way you guys
It is.
talk is like
Oh, it
everybody
is.
knows everybody.
I'm out, and I see it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
It is, but not like it was
Oh,
before.
well,
though.
you got to remember the population has grown times 5 now.
Yeah.
so it's not the same.
It's way different.
Well,
yeah.
whenever you can say a place that you've been and use just one name, then yeah, it's a small community. I was at Pizzo's. I was at, oh yeah, blah blah blah. That's the way you guys talk.
We all have our nicknames.
Yeah.
And do you think godmothers, this is totally like a random question because you DJ there. Do you think godmothers has changed? Because it used to be thug.
It has changed. But you know what though? Like when I DJ, it's a whole new crowd anyways.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
gotten like,
It's a lot more community friendly is what I call it.
yes, there
Yeah.
you go. That's,
Mhm.
yeah.
Community friendly.
Solomon, you have anything to throw in? You had a question you were going to ask.
No,
me.
I was just sitting here making faces when you guys are talking because part of the conversation is sort of like this whole get off my lawn. We're in our 50s and oh, back in the old days. And I always think about you have to put things in context, right? So you talk about people, oh, everybody text, why don't you call? Because most of the time now people's lives are busy.
Mhm.
You can be in a meeting where you can't talk, but you can text, or you can be doing something else where you can't talk, but you can text. That's how people are these days. I mean, it's just different context with music, right? Music, we used to open the CD because you had to buy actual physical media. You would listen to the whole CD from the start to finish, right? You'd hear every song and you would get the gist of the artist and you'd know all of the B-sides and all of the little interludes and all of that stuff. And now with Spotify, you can pick and choose. That changes how we experience music.
It's
And
funny that
so-
you say that because
yeah.
I don't. My son listens. He started to buy records now, and he buys all albums. I used to buy singles as a DJ because I just wanted to buy the singles. Well, DJing was different because on a single you had the instrumental, a regular version, a dirty version, an instrumental, a acapella, and a remix.
Right.
So you have 5 versions on one record. You get the whole album, and you have all the songs, but you don't have anything else to play it with. So to mix it was harder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my son's listening to these whole albums, and I'm like, I don't even know any albums anymore. Even when I was younger, I didn't used to
Yeah.
listen to. I mean, when I was young, but since
Yeah.
I've been DJing, it's been all singles.
Yeah.
So I don't know what album this single came out. I know the song, I have no idea what album it was on though.
And my only other point too, with regard to context, is that we've had to grow to get to the point where we look at life and say, okay, let's be very practical about this. Let's be very practical about our romantic decisions and our relationships, because you don't start that way. And it's never good advice to tell a kid that this is the way you should be, because they have to go through those steps, right? They have to go through falling in love and going all out and love bombing or whatever it is and having your heart broken, and then you get to that point where you can be practical about it. So I think we're at that age and we're sort of showing that, that's where we are in our lives, right? I mean, it's different for kids growing up. They have a different thing, and I think we have to sort of start to accept some of that context, that that's how they're going to be and that's how the world's going to be
Yeah,
from now on.
people communicate different now, and that's
And I don't like it. It's so different.
well
I
because
just
like I
I
said,
don't.
you're not connected because you're not physically with somebody.
Yeah.
You can text and even FaceTime. There's no physical energy being done.
And I feel like people think that texting, FaceTiming, and all that replaces physically being with somebody.
Mm-mm.
To me, it's like, just come on the couch and order pizza. Let's watch a game. Like, if I fall asleep and took a nap, oh well, I went there and we watched the game and you fall asleep. I know,
No.
but like, that's how it was. Like, I feel like it's so different now. People are so and when I say needy in that moment is like, I have to I have to look at you the whole time,
Well,
talk to you the whole
but a
time.
lot of it is they want something to post on social media. Let's do something. Let's have a dinner. Let's do something to where I can show that we're doing something. It's not just I enjoy my time with you and that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
No, they want to do something to be able to post it.
Yeah, likes are the new currency, and that's just how it is with younger people now.
I think I started to fall into that trap. I did. I was posting but I a while ago I don't post really anything like
I'm
at
all
the
over the
moment.
place. I'm all
Like,
like I'll post a Bible quote. I'll post my kid
then you'll
music.
post something sexual and I'm like,
Yeah, some whole
how do
stuff.
you go from Bible to sexual? Like, where did
But
he'll post it all like within like a minute of
There's lots of sex in the Bible.
well,
yeah.
but you know what though? I mean, it's the way my mind is. I'm just
Yeah.
putting out there what's going through my mind.
Ah.
I mean, and my mind's all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I read the Bible. I read my Bible app every day.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, every day. I mean, I try to make as many days as I can because after a week or two, sometimes I don't open it because I'm not on my phone so much one day. Maybe I'm busy doing stuff and I'm just
I
not on it.
watched Bob Marley last night. I knew he was biblical. I didn't know he was that
Oh,
biblical.
super. Yeah.
Oh, I fell more in love with him than I was
Oh,
before.
yeah.
I was like,
So I haven't watched the movie yet.
oh, it's
I
phenomenal.
did you watch a documentary?
I don't think I
The
watched.
documentary on Netflix, from what I understand,
No,
is I watched that and that was really good.
really, I gotta go
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah.
All right, Solomon.
All right.
We're exceeding. But you said you were gonna ask me a question when we came on. You were gonna save it.
Well, because you were talking about love bombing and you guys sort of went all over the place in your
We did.
conversation, so we didn't
I
really get to it. But
we do. I feel like we have to have a whole thing on love bombing because I have so many. I've had so many opinions that have been because I put it on my Instagram.
Everybody has a different perspective.
Yeah,
Whether they've done it or they've had it done to them.
and I'm not a fan of it. I've
It's
not.
fake. It doesn't
Thank
last.
you. Thank you.
It doesn't last.
Okay, I have to have an episode on that.
well,
Like,
and that's my thing. I think there are levels to this,
Yeah.
I
for sure.
feel like
it's not all fake. When you get to the high level, I think it's fake. But
yeah, that might have to be our next one. Solomon, thank you so much. Thank
of
you, Daniel, for
course,
coming
of
on. You got to come
course.
back for sure. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram. Please follow My Coffee and Chaos. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.